Hi. So this is Dr. Nelson, and I have a class participation option for you. And this is a little different because what I want to try to do is a raw discussion like we would have in the classroom as things would occur to us. So I was typing up the lecture notes for Module 2, and I was talking about Hamilton. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, go read Module 2 notes and look for that part about Hamilton. And I was thinking all these things that I wanted to say out loud instead of typing in the notes. And I thought this would be a cool discussion thread to start. So you can either post a reply in video form, or you can write your thoughts. But I just want it to be something off the top of your head, like class discussion. So here's what I want to say. Lin-Manuel Miranda has been criticized in the last couple weeks, but especially in the last few days since Hamilton was released on Disney Plus, for some of the historical moments and the ways that he represented Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson and others in the production. You don't have to have watched the production to participate in this. But anyway, he's been criticized that he didn't really depict the accuracies of slavery. He didn't draw on any of the black voices of the time that he could have. And while there was a thread of racial justice, a small thread of racial justice in the production, a lot of people are saying it didn't go far enough. But a few years ago when Hamilton came out, it was lauded as this amazing disruptor to the racism and the whitewashing that we see in Hollywood and Broadway and pop culture that our textbook kid is really talking about. You know, Lin-Manuel Miranda, a Puerto Rican, he writes this amazing musical about white, colonist Alexander Hamilton and George Washington and all these white male historical figures, slave owners. But the disruption is that the cast was largely non-white, and the music and the style and the presentation of the history was from a social justice perspective and in contemporary pop culture style, in rap and hip hop and pop culture songs in the production. So Lin-Manuel Miranda's gotten criticized that, well, you didn't go far enough. Here we are in 2020, and the Black Lives Matter movement and a lot of other social justice movements have really put in the spotlight the racism and the classism and the gender discrimination and the long list of horrible prejudices that have been highlighted in our pop culture. So he's been criticized for not doing enough. And he said, yeah, I didn't do enough. By today's standards, I didn't do enough. In one of the quotes I saw, he said, I took 6 years in history and boiled it down to 2.5 hours. And I did the best I could, is sort of what he's saying. He welcomes the critiques, but he's also sort of like, hey, I did the best I could. So, we're really in this cancel culture moment right now. And sometimes I'm happy to see people get called out for their misdeeds, but other times it's maybe a little too soon or a little too quick to judge, or maybe we're using the wrong metrics to judge, maybe by the standards of a few years ago when Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote Hamilton and produced it. He went absolutely far enough. So I guess I just want to throw this out there. I'm not going to edit this video. I'm not going to make it more formal. I want, if you choose to participate in this option for class participation, I want you to express what you think of what I just said, the 4 minutes that I just rambled on about Hamilton and cancel culture and race and social justice in pop culture. What do you think of that? What does it make you think of? And sociologically, should Hamilton be edited? Should Lin-Manuel Miranda create a new edition that better addresses some of the critiques that he's getting now? What does this all say? And the other thing is, and I mentioned this briefly in the notes, there's a huge class division in Hamilton the musical itself, but also in the fact that most of us couldn't go see Hamilton on Broadway because it's hundreds of dollars in tickets, and you had to be in New York City, and you had to be lucky enough to get one of the sold out tickets for months. So now that it's released to the rest of us, the plebes, the masses, that Hamilton supposedly was was fighting for. Is this why he's getting this criticism now, as opposed to a few years ago when it was sort of only in the high cultured people? So I've rambled on long enough. I want to know, what do you think of all this? What do you think of this cancel culture? Do you think work should be revised once they're critiqued, or do they just stand for themselves, or do they just dissipate and go away like one-hit wonders? Are there other examples of cancel culture or people reframing the way they look at pop culture in specific terms of race, gender, class that you're thinking of, disability that you're thinking of, that we're looking at module 2? Are there specific moments that should be forgotten or erased or redone, or do they stand on their own even if they've been critiqued? So, not editing this because I don't want you to edit yourselves. I want to try to just get some organic conversation that we're not allowed to have as easily in an online class as we might enjoy. So lay it on me, whatever you think. You can upload a video, you can send me a video and I can upload it for you, or you can just write free thought in the link of, in Canvas in the discussion forum where I'm going to post this video. So, and have a dialogue with me, have a dialogue with each other, read everybody else's stuff or watch everybody else's clips before you comment if you're not the first one. And I hope I'm not the only one talking to myself. Have a great day.